We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Hilda Ngomano, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Tauson Kamalata. Our top stories. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah commends Miss Malawi for utilizing her platform to drive youth empowerment. Government expresses gratitude for its strong working relationship with the private sector. And in sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets are the champions of the 2025-2026 Castel Challenge Cup after defeating Goshen City Delta Dynamos 2-1. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah has commended Miss Malawi Tandi Chisi for using her platform to promote meaningful change. On Friday, the Vice President received Chisi, who paid a courtesy call on her at Capitol Hill in Lilongwe. Dr. Ansah congratulated Ms. Chisi on her reign and encouraged her to remain focused and committed to initiatives that uplift the youth, stressing the importance of cultivating a culture of productivity and self-reliance among young people. Dr. Ansah further emphasized that youth must be encouraged to pursue opportunities through determination and hard work rather than depending on handouts, noting that sustainable development can only be achieved when young people take initiative and responsibility. Government reaffirms its commitment to advancing sexual and reproductive health and rights, highlighting that strong collaborations and development partners are vital for improving service delivery. Director of Health Services in the Ministry of Health, Wilson Nkhani, underscored the vital role of the Norwegian government in improving Malawi's health outcomes. He was speaking in Lilongwe during a visit to Baila Hospital by parliamentarians and civil society leaders from Norway. Chinsisi Moyo reports.
A delegation of members of Norway Parliament pledged continued support to Malawi during a visit to Baila Hospital in Lilongwe. The visit, facilitated by the Family Planning Association of Malawi, FIPAM, gave the parliamentarians an opportunity to appreciate how local health facilities deliver essential sexual and reproductive health services. Director of Health Services in the Ministry of Health, Wilson Nkhani, commended Norway for its timely support towards the health sector.
We are congested in as far as most of the facilities in the cities is concerned. We here in Lilongwe we're talking about Bwaila, but also Kamuzu Central Hospital. So in our effort to decongest Bwaila and Kamuzu Central Hospital, with guidance from the Ministry of Health, we have since promoted the facilities, urban facilities, into community hospital, but that is almost still on paper. So we would really use their assistance to at least add infrastructure and equipment in these facilities so that we can at least improve but also decongest these facilities.
Norwegian parliamentarian Kathy Lee praised Malawian health workers for their dedication despite facing numerous challenges.
Our job when we come home and have seen this in real life is to tell all our colleagues about it and also to enhance the work on supporting you even more.
FIPAM Executive Director Donald Makwakwa described Norway as a key development partner, noting that the Norwegian government is currently funding one of the organization's projects in Malawi.
For us, our expectation is that they have learned. Now they have first-hand information in terms of what is needed in Malawi, and we believe them being members of parliament and considering that the Norwegian government has been a very long partner to the Malawi government, this is also going to inform them when it comes to making positions on foreign aid, particularly aid to Malawi, that would enable them to address the issues that they have identified or expressed on the ground here in Malawi.
The delegation from Norway is visiting Malawi this week to assess progress made in advancing sexual and reproductive health and rights. Chinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Management at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital, one of Malawi's major referral centers, has ordered all staff to wear ward-specific regalia and identity badges effective this week. The hospital's Director General, Dr. Patrick Kamalo, announced the directive on Friday during an annual General Assembly at the facility. The assembly drew staff from across various departments. George Muhango filed this report.
According to Queen's Director General, Dr. Patrick Kamalo, the move is a direct response to a rise in impersonators. The hospital reports that individuals posing as nurses or doctors have been infiltrating wards to solicit money from unsuspecting patients. Dr. Kamalo assured staff that management will procure the necessary uniforms and provide official identity cards to ensure every legitimate employee is easily identifiable.
For some time, we have not had IDs for our patients. They don't have, for our staff, they don't have identification. And the issue of putting on of uniforms has not also been enforced that much. So those are the other steps that we are putting in place. One will control the number of people coming into the hospital so that only staff and patients come in and not people coming to just loiter around. And then if we have the IDs, that everyone should be putting on an ID so that if someone is offended, then they know that this is the person who took money from me.
The decision has been met with approval from the frontline. During the AGM, Fegi Bodole, an emergency critical nurse officer, described the return to strict uniform code as timely.
So the message has come at the right time, and we have been warned from him as our Director General that these things, especially the fact that even the core management is aware of these things, because people maybe they've been thinking that we're doing these things, they're just underground. Nobody is aware. And also by the issues also coming on media platform is good that we'll be speaking one language.
Beyond policy shifts, the event featured traditional dances and candid discussions on the evils of corruption. Staff members collectively acknowledged that graft has tarnished the reputation of the referral facility. Queens provides specialized medical care to all districts in the southern and eastern regions. This latest security measure follows a move last week to restrict access to mortuary services in an effort to combat theft and improve sanitation.
As a response to their faithfulness in paying back loans shown by communities in Bangwe, the National Economic Empowerment Fund Limited has rehabilitated Bangwe Community Hospital in Blantyre. Speaking at a handover ceremony on Friday, NIF's chairperson James Napambo said Bangwe has registered 91% payment and needed to be appreciated. Rashida Matandika has filed this report.
Napambo commended the community of Bangwe for their discipline and loyalty in paying back the loans, which he said will give chance to other beneficiaries or will help the same beneficiaries to upgrade to bigger loans. He said this was part of their corporate social responsibility and their loyal clients benefit from it.
NIF decided in 2024 to rehabilitate this hospital, maintain it, and that has been finished. So with that finished, we also bought equipment. The idea is that we want to make this hospital very much receptive to the needs of the people of Bangwe.
The mayor of Blantyre, Isaac Jomo Osman, attributed the discipline by the beneficiaries in his area to mindset change.
And the secret is we don't need to involve politics in the issue of NIF. Let NIF do their work. We politicians should do also our work. Because we have seen some problems. People are giving the color of the party to NIF. NIF is belong to all Malawians. It's not belong to any political party. So I want to tell all Malawians to leave NIF alone and let NIF do business.
Meanwhile, the Director of Health and Social Services, Gifty Kawarazila, said this is a good start for a proper hospital environment, as there are plans to upgrade the facility to a community hospital.
I think today is a great day for the people of Blantyre, especially for the people of Bangwe, because of the renovations that have actually taken place here, sponsored by NIF, close to about 400 million kwacha. It means this facility now is wearing a new face. It looks more hygienic and it looks ready to actually save the population.
Bangwe Community Hospital saves a population of about 200,000 people. Rashida Matandika, MBC News, Blantyre.
The Malawi Police Service has commended the Japanese government for boosting police services through the donation of musical instruments. The Inspector General of Police, Richard Luhanga, said this when receiving the instruments in Lilongwe, while praising the strong cooperation between Malawi and Japan. Our reporter, Mphatso Mataya, has compiled this report, read by Emmanuel Chikonso.
Speaking during the handover ceremony, Luhanga said the donated equipment will help to boost the brass band activities, including the recruitment of the new band members and improve the training sessions. He added that the equipment is also essential in advocating for social security and community mobilization through music.
You cannot talk of Malawi Police Service without talking of the police band. The police band is the embodiment of the Malawi Police Service, but also Malawi as a country. This band is a very big capability. It's a very big tool that we use in terms of fighting crime. We use it to spread different messages, both the police orchestra band and the brass band, through the music that they play. And when we go out there, a lot of people come, Malawians, to listen to this band as we spread them. And so with this donation that we've got today, it will enable us to be able to do our work very easily.
In his remarks, Japanese ambassador to Malawi, Naito Yasushi, said the donation symbolizes the strong ties between Malawi and Japan. He has since pledged Japan's continued support to Malawi in different sectors, including that of security.
We are also thankful of all the police service dedication of protecting Malawian people. But not only that, protecting the people of Japan origin here in Malawi, including those Japanese volunteers. And we have a lot of collaboration apart from these donations.
Japan has been supporting Malawi Police Brass Band with equipment since 2004, and this particular donation comprises of 30 units of music equipment, which includes saxophone, trumpets, French horn, and others.
You're watching MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Vice President Dr. Jenansa commends Miss Malawi for utilizing her platform to drive youth empowerment. Government expresses gratitude for its strong working relationship with the private sector. And in sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets are the champions of the 2025-2026 Castillo Challenge Cup after defeating Goshen City Delta Dynamos 2-1.
What's your name? Gary, huh? It's my game.
We put everything into this. Those that can do it and succeed, how to fix it.
This city has been just a cookbook. It's part of being hit here with the latest global news and insightful documentary.
Transition.
Understanding the
But if you ask them know me. I know they blow trees, only know you.
True love comes from the sweetness of the depths of your heart, at your home and any other place. Keep those energy levels afloat with the right brand of sugar. Salima Sugar, truly appetizing, sweet, nutritious, and energy-giving. Begin and end your day with the sweetest of memories. Salima Sugar, the sweet pride of Malawi. By Malawi, for Malawi.
Welcome back. Government has expressed gratitude over the good working relationship it has with the private sector. Principal Secretary responsible for administration in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Rashid Mtelera, was speaking during a lean season response program food distribution exercise at Traditional Authority Mulumbi in Zomwe, courtesy of National Bank of Malawi. Opile Kaisa has more in this report.
According to Principal Secretary responsible for administration in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Rashid Mtelera, collaborative efforts between government and the private sector, such as National Bank of Malawi, are key in ensuring that Malawians in need are assisted in good time following its donation towards the lean season response program.
So far, so good. As I said, we requested for the whole packages 234 billion. There is a shortfall for 71 billion. We're talking about 71 billion. It can be even less than that because of what we've received today and what we received last time in Blantyre 3 weeks ago. So we are around that. Which means what we asked and what we are getting, we've gotten more than what we're asking. But other people, other institutions, other countries are still coming in. So the response is good.
Chief Operating Officer for National Bank, Masauko Katsala, said the bank is committed to helping communities countrywide because they believe it is part of the bank's responsibility, hence the 300 million kwacha donation.
As National Bank of Malawi, we are truly a Malawian bank, a bank of the nation. So when the appeal came out, we felt duty-bound to respond to that need because we believe in being a very good corporate citizen. We deal with the customers that are Malawians. We are operating in Malawi. So in terms of need, we believe we need to join hands with all that are concerned to address the particular need. As you may be aware, as National Bank, we usually respond to these appeals, as I said already, that we believe in giving back to the community where we do our business.
Director of Preparedness and Response for DOTMA, Charles Matabwa, hailed National Bank of Malawi for the gesture and further warned beneficiaries to avoid selling relief food, as is usually the case.
As you may recall, when President Arthur Peter Mutharika announced that we have got hunger in the country, he requested people, appealed to people, companies, our friends outside the country, and many people came through, organizations, including National Bank. So they have helped a lot. Like National Bank has brought in 300 million kwacha, and that's why we are here, to appreciate what they have done for us.
Over 38,000 families have been affected by hunger in Zomwe district. Upile Kaisa, MBC News, Zomba.
As Muslims begin observing the holy month of Ramadan, the Quadria Muslim Association of Malawi, QMAM, has distributed food items to various mosques across the country to support communities when breaking the fast. Speaking after handing over the donation in Lilongwe, which includes bags of rice and sugar, QMAM Vice Secretary Sheikh Laston Luwonde said the initiative is aimed at assisting underprivileged Muslim families affected by hunger and economic challenges. Sheikh Luwonde said the program has so far reached 41 mosques nationwide, with plans underway to conduct another round of donations within the next 14 days. One of the beneficiaries, Amina Lapson, who is women chairperson for Area 44B Mosque, Lilongwe City, commended QMAM for the timely support. Over 111,000 farmers in Cholo district are reportedly facing food insecurity after a downey mildew disease attacked over 11 hectares of maize fields. The district's Director of Agriculture Services, Jackson Mvula, revealed this when they distributed tubers to the affected farmers as part of government's efforts to mitigate the impact. The affected farmers have since thanked government for their timely response. Yohane Chizomola spoke to Jackson Mbula.
The government has come in with an intervention. We are providing roots and tubers to replant. We are distributing cassava and sweet potato vines. For sweet potato, we have been given 44,000 bundles of sweet potato vines, which is going to be distributed in all 6 EPAs. For cassava, we have been given 20,000 bundles for cassava cuttings. Now, these are the interventions that the farmers who have uprooted their mains, they can replant. We feel like once they are going to plant sweet potato and cassava, it will be a relief to them, just because after harvesting, they are going to sell and buy maize.
In business news, National Bank of Malawi has underscored the importance of investing in the energy sector with a view of fast-tracking Malawi's industrialization goals. The bank's head of corporate banking, William Tetsala, said this in Blantyre, when the bank was supporting Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi ESCOM with 10 million kwacha towards the hosting of the Power Institute of East and Southern Africa Conference.
First, it's strategic. Strategic in the sense that power or energy or electricity is an enabler. If you're going to produce anything, you need power. So for this country to develop, we need the electricity ecosystem to work very well. And for us as National Bank, we felt it was necessary that we support the conference because of its strategic nature. The expectation is that the conference will create an environment where Malawian engineers, policymakers, and other stakeholders will engage with their colleagues in the region and discuss innovative solutions that will drive this economy going forward. The energy sector is capital intensive. They need to procure equipment. It doesn't come cheap. And they need to continuously upgrade it. And for that, they need to access capital. And banks like National Bank of Malawi play the role of ensuring that capital is made available so that we can continue to grow, increase the energy ecosystem that we have in this country.
ESCOM's Director of Finance, Brian Desale, hailed the bank for the support, stating that it affirms the strength of their partnership and shared vision of achieving sustainable electricity to power the Malawi nation.
The PSA conference happening in Lero at the ICC is about bringing together Eastern Africa and Southern Africa power utilities, energy leaders, experts to collaborate and discuss matters concerning energy. Actually, the donation has come in at a very, in a timely manner. Currently, ESCOM is facing challenges, financial challenges. So at the moment, the gift has come in time to assist the preparations of the conference. They'll be discussing about things like vandalism, which is a challenge within the sector here in Malawi, in Mozambique, and all these other parts that we're connected with. So that's one of the issues that will be discussed. Besides new technologies, collaboration is very important because all of us across the continent are facing similar challenges. So when we collaborate like this, we get to see what is happening in Eastern Africa. In the Southern Africa power pool, we get to understand what is happening in the Southern Africa and try to come up with solutions that will assist both of us.
ESCOM is set to host the Continental Indawa from tomorrow, 22 February to Tuesday, 24 February in Lilongwe, which will see Africa energy leaders deliberating on how to achieve sustainable electricity for the future. In sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets are the champions of the 2025-2026 Castel Challenge Cup after edging out Goshen City, the Dynamos, in the thrilling final played at Bingo National Stadium in Lilongwe. Hassan Kajoke's double strike on 57 and 80th minutes proved decisive for Bullets to claim the championship. Our reporter, Foster Maulidi, with the details.
In the first ever cup final between the two sides, fans filled up the Bingo National Stadium to witness the history. Dynamos showed intent of writing history of lifting their first ever national trophy, with Bullets buzzing for their second silverware of the season. But it was Hassan Kajoke who made the difference on the 57th minute strike before doubling the lead through a spot kick on the 80th minute. Chikondi Mbeta Jr. pulled one back a minute after Hassan Kajoke's second goal to keep Dynamo's title hopes alive, but Bullets managed to contain the pressure to the last whistle and walked to the podium for the gold and the whopping 55 million kwacha. For Bullets coach Gilbert Chirwa, it was a mission accomplished, praising his charges for a spirited fight.
It was really a tough game. We expected that, but we were well prepared, and I think the boys were told not to underrate Deza. They'll come in full force, and that's what we witnessed. The fact that we won. It was a balanced game altogether, because I think Deza did their homework quite well. I believe people watched a very good cup final.
Despite a disappointing outcome, Dynamo's coach Alex Ngwira says it was a journey worth celebrating, hoping to bounce back strong in the 2026 season as they go home with silver medals.
It will really motivate us, because playing in the finals with a big team like Bullets, players now have grown in confidence, and I know completely that as we start training, all those they've been looking down by themselves, that will go, because this time round they will feel they are grown up in football, and they can match any team in Malawi.
The winding up of the Castel Challenge Cup also marks the end of the 2025-2026 football season, and it is time for the teams to recharge, geared for the upcoming 2026-2025 football season. Foster Maulidi, MBC Sport.
Still in sports, the Malawi women's national football team, the Scorchers, this afternoon got their first win at the COSAFA Women's Championship in South Africa after walloping Lesotho by 8-1. Among the scorers were Deborah Henry with 3 goals and Irene Kumalo, who netted twice. The emphatic victory has lifted the Scorchers from 4th to 2nd position in Group A with 3 points from 2 games. South Africa topped the group with 6 points after beating Angola 2-0 earlier in the day. Malawi must beat Angola convincingly on Tuesday to boost their hopes of progressing to the semi-finals. And that's the news for now. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Vice President Dr. Jenansa commends Miss Malawi for utilizing her platform to drive youth empowerment. Government expresses gratitude for its strong working relationship with the private sector. And in sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets are the champions of the 2025-2026 Castel Challenge Cup after defeating Goshen City, the Dynamos 2-1. Keep up to date with the news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You were with me, Hiuda Ngomano, and our sign language interpreter was Tauson Kamalata. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Good evening, and it's time for weather forecast. Localized heavy rains were experienced over the country in a period of 24 hours and were recorded and reported this morning at 8, with Vuwa in Karonga reporting the highest at 51 millimeters, followed by